Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new series from me, the Onion Man of Greece. You might recognize me from the We All Playcast, currently making a Let's Play for ShadowzsOnion. And we are here on the Yogscast Complete Pack today. Really, we're playing this mainly because I'm a big fan of the Yogscast, of course. They're what got me started in Minecraft. If it wasn't for Shadow of Israfel, I would not play this game. However, the other thing that's very nice about them is that the Yogscast Complete Pack is the new version of Resident Rise, which has been one of my favorite mod packs for a long time, purely because of how big it is and how much stuff is in it. Now, I know the guys at the Yogscast are also doing their own series on it, but well, they're not exactly the most technical of players, usually. And they seem to be focusing very largely on one mod apiece. You know, Lewis and Simon, they're going off and doing their thing with Galacticraft and the Yogs, you know, the old Jaffa Factory. Duncan and Shin seem to be going really hard into the Ars Magica with their magic beliefs. They're not, however, nobody's really combining mods. They're not mixing very much. So I want to show you today in this series a much more technical side of this pack, because there's a lot of fantastic things going on in here that play very well with each other. Now, one of the first things that you're going to do, just like in normal Minecraft, is you're going to go mining. We have a mine set up over there. And you're going to end up with a whole lot of shenanigans. Just give you a quick peek into the chests. Now, one problem you're going to have is that most of the things in this mod pack require quite a lot of resources. One of the most especially heavily used resources at the beginning is going to be iron. There's some. Let's put this back on. Now, something that is very familiar to the average mod pack player is the idea of doubling your ores. One of the classic ways of doing this is with the Industrial Craft Macerator. Macerator. What? Oh no. Where's the Macerator? There is no Industrial Craft in this mod pack. I hear you gasp. Don't worry. We're here to help. Now, the Macerator is a classic beginning of the game way of doubling ores. We don't have that, so we have to use different methods. Now, a really easy way for you to learn this stuff is that when you first start this mod pack, you're going to get one of these guys, these quest books. This is a fantastic mod that's in this pack, this quest book. And this will teach you the very, very basics. If you go into it, you just first open it up. There's a zombie. He'll be fine. Different chapters. First one, of course, is this whole new world. Open it up. Here's all the different quests. You work your way through. These three are the ones we're interested in. These are the three different ways they suggest that the pack suggests you double your ores at the very beginning. Turning up the heat, grinding away, and crushing it up are the names of the quests. Now, all of these do their own different things. So let's first take a gander at this. This is the first one that you see on the list, hanging out over here, this turning up the heat. This vat, these crucibles, ingot casters, and ladles, and eventually you just turn in ingots. Now, this thing is from Mariculture. Mariculture is a fantastic mod. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with Mariculture right off the bat. Big fan of fishing in Minecraft, and this really makes fishing in Minecraft a lot of fun. This thing, however, is an absolute piece of junk. You want nothing to do with this. Let me explain how it works. So firstly, you have to make 2 of these crucible furnaces and put them on top of each other. Let me tell you, these things are not cheap. They are very expensive. Look at this. Now this doesn't seem too bad, but you get into the seeding component. Oh, I need a bunch of clay for need a bunch of coal for this. That's not too bad. Fluid tanks. Oh, a bunch of copper. That's not too bad. Look, you even get 2. That's the exact number you need. Bunch of this burnt brick. That can't be hard. Just stick. Oh, wouldn't you think burnt brick would be? You stick a brick in the, furnace. Just cook it, burn it. Not even close. What you need to do is grab one of these puppies, a vat, and into this vat goes a lovely bucket of lava. Then, on top of this lovely bucket of lava, you put in a brick, and you wait about 45 seconds and gives you a burnt brick and takes up half your bucket of lava. You want nothing to do with this. No. that. Thank you. It's a big waste of time. Now, eventually you get these burnt bricks, and you're able to make this thing. This crucible furnace. Now, the way this thing works is you put in your source that wants to be doubled. So in this case, we want double iron. And then you put in coal. And you let it cook. Now, if you take a gander here, you'll see that there's a couple different things listed. We know that our coal is a solid fuel, and we know that the max temperature for a piece of coal that will heat up this thing is 40 degrees Celsius. Now, once this crucible furnace gets up to enough heat, it will start to double your ore output, basically. How hot does it need to be to double iron? 1,500 degrees. That's right, 1,500 degrees. Let me put out here on the big screen for you how many pieces of coal that is. Yeah. Do you see that? Way too expensive. Look, we've already lost 3 pieces, and we're sitting at 31. It's terrible. Now, what'll eventually happen is that you will cook everything down like it needs to be cooked down. Where is my ladle? Once you get cooked down, you right-click with your ladle onto this thing. It's just opening it because there's nothing in here. And you pour it into the ingot caster, and voila, you get ingots. Yay. Now, this does multiply ingots very well. Look, you got 4 little slots. It's fantastic. It's also nice modeling. That's not any good, though. The next best option behind that is this guy, the Stone Crusher for metallurgy. Fantastic piece of equipment. This works much, much better in my opinion, because it's much cheaper. Put on a piece of iron, put in some coal, eventually this stuff will melt down, get crushed down, and ore. Well, not ore, dust. Then you can smelt the dust for iron. This has a problem though. It consumes coal. Coal is very valuable in this part of the game. You need it for lighting, you need it for cooking. You want your coal. This is what you actually want. This thing. This grindstone. Now here's how this works. First you create yourself a grindstone. Seen here. Cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. You need some stone, you need some cobblestone, you need some wooden gears, and you need this quartz dust. You can either use nether quartz dust, which you get from basically grinding down nether quartz, as you would get from the nether. Just the vanilla nether quartz. Or you need the Certus quartz dust, and this is much easier to get. If you just go mining for a good solid 10 or 20 minutes, just go down to time and level just like you normally would, you're going to come across this stuff. It's going to be Certus quartz ore. And when you mine it, you get Certus quartz, and you get much more Certus quartz dust. This can be used for a very large variety of things. They're fantastic for your machinery, but I like them even better because you can use this Certus quartz to make tools. So if you're not going to get straight into applied energistics, which I'm not going to because there's a much better system for the sorting and storing of items, you can just use this as in place of your iron or in place of your rubies, sapphires, and emeralds you would get from Project Red. You know, you've seen it before. Now how this stuff works is you place in your ore up here on the left, so our iron ore. It gets pulled into here, and eventually you grind it down into this. The way you grind it, turn the crank. Just turn the crank. All you gotta do is hold right click. So simple. In fact, if you don't even like to hold right click, you can just click it, and it turns once. And check it out. Once you get about 10 turns, you end up with 2 extra powder. Just chuck it in your furnace. Just chuck it in your furnace. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, this doesn't seem that great. I have to stand here and I have to hold this. Well, as some of you might be thinking, you can probably use one of these. Some of you might recognize this. This is from Thermal Expansion. It's an autonomous activator. You place it down, it clicks for you. It can either right click or it can left click. You just switch it like that. This determines use of items. This determines whether it's going to aim high, low, or level on the block in front of it, and whether or not it's a sneaking. This is a player clicking. Every time you see one of those pulses go off, that's one player click. It's a fantastic item. Highly recommended. Now, unfortunately, this wonderful autonomous activator does not work with the crank. Now, this makes sense to me, because otherwise you would not need a different ore doubling technique. You would just occasionally have to set up a pipe system using your build-a-craft, send everything into one of these grindstones, pull out all your dust into a slew of furnaces. These autonomous activators are cheap, 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 cheap. So easy to make. Chest, piston, 2 pieces of tin, and pneumatic servo, which is just iron, glass, and redstone. You can get a whole slew of these things because of how cheap they are in maybe 10 minutes. You could be grinding up like crazy. Now it is sad. So here's the technique then in order for doubling yours. But you have to stand here. All these have a downside. With these grindstones, you need to stand here and turn it. With these stone crushers, you need to invest a lot of coal. See? 1 coal, 2 coal, iron dust. You get a double. And these crucible furnaces are, frankly, a piece of junk that consume absurd amount of fuel. But you're a smart watcher. You're not some noob. You specifically seeked me out for technicality. You know exactly what we're going to make next. You see him right here hanging out in the inventory. The truly great way of doubling ores in this mod pack is with Tinker's Construct, which is a beautiful, beautiful mod. I love the mod creator who made this. It's a very smart, intelligent man. You should go and tell him wonderful, wonderful things about himself. Let's see here. Drain, drain. We're going to do it for a 2-drain system. Now, the whole idea of Tinker's Constructs, as I'm sure you're aware, is to make these giant forges. And with these giant forges, you can make a very large slew of very, very cool tools. Bam. Alright, here's our basic components. I like a system a little bit larger than most people. That's just me. I like to make these things very large because they do overflow. And we're going to set this up right around here. Specifically, yeah, here we'll do. We'll terraform around it later. Just got to place it down. So this is a multi-block structure. It's very large. No. It requires many moving pieces. So first off, your drains. Second off, your controller. This is what you use to control your smeltery. You need a tank. This thing operates on lava. It requires a fuel. You'll need your self-seared bricks in order to complete the structure. Need 1 more. And Viola. This, now that it's on fire with this controller, you can see that you now have a working smeltery. So, just take a look at the bucket of lava, right-click on the sear tank. Let's get 2 of them in here. Now, it doesn't take too much lava. So you can see this thing can hold about 4 buckets. This lava goes far. And you throw in your iron ore. Now, next step with this. Got to put your faucets on there. This thing needs to drain out. And we're going to need 2 things, which I forgot to craft. We're going to need a crafting table and a casting basin. Now these 2 serve either in the raw production of ingots or in the creation of very, very cool, very overpowered tools. We're much more interested in the ingots, just for starts. We'll get to the tools in a bit. Now, what's important with this is that you also need to build up your basin. As this iron ore will melt down, it will melt down into liquid. It'll be liquid iron ore. Oh, there it goes. See? We have now 18 ingots worth of molten iron in this machine. Also, look, as you build up in levels, you get more slots. You start off with exactly 9 slots, 3 by 3. Every level you go higher, you get another 3 by 3 area in which to put in raw ore. Now, how to get the ingots out. The easiest way to get it out in bulk is with these casting basins. Right-click on the faucet of whatever you want to pour into. So we're clicking on this faucet to pour out into the basin. And it'll dump out 9 ingots worth of iron. And then once this thing gets filled up and it cools down, behold, iron block. Yay! Casting table serves a slightly different purpose, which we'll get to in a minute. Or even more likely, next episode. So, we're going to try to keep these short, quick little tutorials for everyone. This has been your basics and, well, I suppose basics and, what's the word? What is the word? The bird knows the word. Doubling ingots. Doubling ingots at the beginning of a Yogscast complete pack play. Now, you might be wondering, how do you get these seared bricks? You get the seared bricks by cooking seared brick. The recipe for seared brick is you cook grout. Grout's easy enough to make. It's sand, gravel, and clay. You can get as much grout as you can possibly need out of any river. A river biome, such as this right here, will happily keep you supplied in grout. If you get lucky like I do, you can spawn in next to a desert. Some of you might be wondering, because you see on the Yogscast, they are playing with Biomes of Plenty. There's nothing Biomes of Plenty. Biomes of Plenty by default is disabled on this mod pack. I did not enable it. You get to choose when you install the mod pack using the AT launcher what disabled mod you would like to enable. We are playing with Morph turned on, which is disabled by default, as well as Sync. Morph because I'm a big fan of the ability to change models. You don't always want to look like a player, I find. Different models can also provide distinct advantages. Being a blaze in another is always a wonderful, wonderful decision to make. As well as you can also turn into something I greatly enjoy, silverfish. Ooh, listen to that. Which allows you to get a different view in the world. You get to be 1 block high. It makes it much, much easier to redstone a wire, being only this tall as opposed to 2. You can get into much smaller spaces. I also have the sync mod enabled, as I mentioned, mainly for the fact that we are not going to stay in one place in this world. We are going to be moving to very many different places, and each different place most likely is going to have its own mod associated with it. So to cut down travel time, we will be having multiple different clones hanging out all over the place. Alright, so this has been how to double ores at the beginning of the Yogscast Complete Pack. I'm the Onion Man in Grease. I hope you have a wonderful day. Boop.